What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Eagles season is upon us. Let's go.
What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
Welcome in, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by Baggio's Bread. They're located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. They're the home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs. You name it, mention A2D Radio, and you get 10% off your order. That's Baggio's Bread, Mount Laurel, New Jersey. They're the best. Go check them out. As always on Wednesday, Ryan Brodo, Frank Vespi, Greg Mwakovic, Ralph Del Vecchio. I'm Tom Arnone. Maybe Noah Eaton. Obviously, we've moved Chrome away. We've moved him to a different time slot on Tuesday. We just keep juggling him around. So you can catch him on birds of a feather. But we got a lot to talk about. All right, week one's here. We'll give you our locks of the week. We're back. We'll be keeping track, keeping score at the end of the year. And we'll see who finishes in first place. NFL week one predictions. So not our locks, but we'll go through every game. We'll run through the slate later on in the show. But our main topic and the whole crux of our conversation tonight is Philadelphia Eagles. And it's week one versus the New England Patriots. They're hanging Brady's banner. They're hanging the banner for Tom Brady. All right. And people are scared. But we're going to give you our preview and predictions of that. All that ties into our poll question. And that is brought to you by our doc, Make 'em Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, location in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. They accept most major insurances. Go check them out. SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. Our poll for tonight. The Philadelphia Eagles will cover the point spread against the New England Patriots. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live, and everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow, turn your alerts on. Join the conversation tonight. In certain places, you'll see 3.5. Certain places, you'll see 4. And if you look at the line, it's a low line. Right. And it's a low line because it's a new year, too. Right. I don't really get into if lines are telling too much this early on in the year. But I fully agree because I'm not getting caught up into the slow start and all the things that people are getting caught up with. Right. I just don't get caught up in it. Right. This is a team that won 14 games last year. This is a team that arguably on paper is just as good, if not better. They're very close. They're very close to the same team. An argument you could make to be better, an argument you can make to be a little worse, right? Fair. But they're around the same team. And the core of the team's back. And this is the same offense that didn't get off to a slow start last year. You know, they were able to run the football and run the football at a high level. Now, this is Bill. And this is Bill's defenses, right? So I'll factor that in a little bit. I'm not telling you the Eagles are going to come out here and score 40 points. But I will tell you is, you know, they're gonna cover 4 or 3.5. Right, I actually have them winning by double digits when we get to our score predictions and our offensive defensive player of the game. Right, I have this a double-digit win, and that's more so because I don't believe in New England's offense one bit. And if our defense is the defense it's supposed to be, well, we should shut that down. We should slow that down. That shouldn't go up and down the field on us. Right, Mac Jones is a statue. That plays to our strengths. When you got a quarterback that doesn't move around and doesn't run, and it's going to be in the spot you're aiming for, when you come off the end or you're coming up the middle and right, you look at a quarterback that doesn't move, that's an easier target is the one that's a not moving target. So, you know, that could help us out as a football team, right? Defensively. But listen, we're an NFC champs. There's no reason why we shouldn't be back there again. Unless people don't get out of their way. And it all starts week one. And it all starts week one. That might not be the cleanest game ever. But it's a game they win by 10, and they easily cover the spread. So I agree. Everybody out there, let us know. Eagles covering the spread, and then we'll obviously get into our talks about score and all those other things as we go on.
Oh, I'll go next here. Happy game week, man. It is finally freaking here. Thank God. We don't got to talk about some dude from Temple that's got we selected in the 7th round in preseason football. It's awesome, man. It's great. I agree to poll. I think I'm right where you, Tommy. I think they win by double digits. Spoiler alert. I think they win by double digits Sunday. Listen, you can hang Brady, in the rafters with his jersey and stuff like that. That's cute. Okay. Because last time we played Brady, we kind of took it to him in the Super Bowl and we won that shit. So I think that happens again, like the only thing that kind of worries me a little bit is, obviously it's Bill's first opponent of the year. So, obviously he's going to do his homework a lot on us more than a normal team would. Just because, you prepare for that one team, obviously, for week one more than you would for another team that's coming, week to week. But I think we can go into New England on a special day that it is for them, and we can obviously and ruin it. And I think we can. And Tommy, to your point where you said that we got better in the offseason with this team, I think you can make the case that this roster now might be better than last year's roster. And we went to the Super Bowl with that team. You can make a case that this roster might be a little bit better than last year. So I agree. I think we cover. Like I said, I think I'm right with Tommy. I think we win by double digits. So I agree to the poll.
Yeah, that's what we talked about last week, Ralphie, or 2 weeks ago, right, when we did our last show, on how there's, when we go over positions, you can make arguments that some are better. So.
Yeah, I agree too, to be honest. Like, I was looking at the roster, right? And like, it's tough to both of your points where like it's a new year, right? Like, you don't really want to get into the trap of like comparing last year's team to this year's team, especially like the Patriots, right? Where there's a bunch of things going on and they've made some switches. Not that we haven't, but it's a little bit different, especially when you're comparing like a middle of the road team, right? Like the Patriots were last year to, like you guys both said, like a Super Bowl caliber, team. And you could argue in some aspects they may be better this year. I was looking at, okay, like if this is going to be one of those, like, okay, NFL week one, it always gets weird things, there's always a shocker, right? And not even playing on the Super Bowl hangover, I was thinking to myself, what could the Patriots do to beat us, right? Other than like just self-inflicted mistakes by our own account. The only thing that really came up, right, is if they play like the keep away game just based off of their rushing attack. And it's like, okay, the one thing with our defensive line that you could really not question, right? Because again, you really don't have too many question marks, but is how are we going to defend the run now that Javon Hargrave is gone and you have some, younger pieces kind of having to step up. And obviously when you look at Ramondre Stevenson, who had a hell of a year last year, and then Ezekiel Elliott, like, is he what he was in Dallas? I certainly don't think so, but I don't think he's a scrub at this point. That's really the only thing I could see them really dominating the game or even coming out with a victory, right? Is if they just strictly play the possession game on us, right? Like you have Mike Gesicki, who I think is pretty good. You have Hunter Henry. The wide receivers, it's the same old story with the wide receivers with the Patriots. They don't really do anything for me. And then when you look at our offense against their defense, obviously Bill's defense, to both of your points, it always does really well. But I look at those cornerbacks, right? And it's a theme of what we talked about last year, and it's good because you have a guy named A.J. Brown here. We have a lot of small cornerbacks, a lot of small safeties, a lot of 5'10" something, a lot of 5'11s. That's not going to work when you have A.J. Brown. And if you're going to try and double him, Devontae Smith's going to have a really good day. So I don't see it being like a blow up by any means, but I would be very surprised if they don't cover the spread. So I'll agree. Greg?
Frank?
Or Frank?
You're mute, Frank. There you go.
Technology. Okay. So I also agree to the poll. I don't think we're going to win by double digits, but I think we do enough to get the job done. I mean, we have the rust with most of our stars. I mean, we haven't seen them all preseason. Yes, it's preseason, but I kind of want to see a little fan service with a little preseason action from Jalen, from AJ, from Devontae. But there's some other factors we got to put in. We got the younger guys. We have a brand new defensive coordinator. What is Sean Desai going to do with this defense, especially against a 1-2 punch with Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke? But with that being said, I think they get it all together by halftime. I'm not going to say they're going to win by I won't say they win by double digits, but they'll get that job done. I agree.
All right. Sets up for me to disagree. I'm going to disagree. I have the Eagles still winning. I think we're going to see a little bit more of what we saw last year. in just a slow start because of just the lack of any type of reps in the preseason, right? I think we obviously know that this regime values health over preseason reps, and hey, last year it worked out pretty well, right? So there's not to say it doesn't work out, but I just think we come out a little slow. And Ralphie, I think you brought up a really good point. In week one against Bill is always going to be a little tougher just because he's got the time against him, right? He's able to dial up that defense to at least try to slow us down a little bit. I don't think we're in danger of losing the game. I just think it's going to be pretty close at the end, to where I probably would bet I'd probably take the plus points, especially as a home dog.
So you think it's a field goal game?
Yes.
All right, I get it. And people are scared. I don't get into like Bill had all off season, that much either though.
The strength of why their corners might be slow. The strength of their team is their defense though as well, right? So yeah, it is going to be a little bit of, I'm not going to say struggle, right? But it's going to be a little bit of a fight against that defense, just because that is their strength, right? That is the way that the Patriots are going to have to play all year to stay in games, is to be really good defensively.
Yeah, that's essentially their only shot.
Yeah,
right. And I don't know if they're going to, I guess the only way is they could run the ball on us, but he could throw it around on us too, right? Like the NFL is weird like that coming into a new year, right? You don't know what can happen. On ways that they can try to keep it close, right? It could be a way like we're not even thinking about, yep. Right? Or they take the football away a bunch of times, right? And we turn it over. So there's ways for them to stay in the game. Obviously, we're just better. We're way better. Yeah. We're way better. And I don't even Bill's a genius. I get it, but they're hanging the real genius's banner up, right?
The other thing too,
I mean, that's who plays. You put your players in position to play, but you need greatness to win. At the end of the day, any coach will tell you that. And they're just not. I mean, you're talking about a team that's possibly fourth in their own division, or last in their own division, compared to a team that's not only expected to win their division,
loaded division.
Yeah, they're expected to come out of the NFC.
Yeah,
they're all going to be the favorite to come out of the NFC. I don't care how you win games. You guys know this by now. Like, you just get me into a locker room with a win, I'm gooch. But then you should come out and take care of business. And that's that meaning that's a double-digit game all game. But that means, like, late in the game, you go on that drive. You go on that final nail in the coffin type drive, right? And you end up winning by 10, right? That's what you should do. You're better.
Well, the other thing, too, and Tom, you mentioned this when you were talking about Mac Jones, who does not really move around at all. Well,
like a statue.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. He's going to be behind an offensive line that literally he does not know who his offensive line is going to be. 3 out of their 5 are hurt. The other one, he's been limited in practice, right? 2 of them are on the IR. I think 1 was on the PUP. They literally don't know who's going to be available for their offensive line, and it's week freaking 1 going up against this defensive line, right? That's why, and again, we've gotten used to saying this the last 12, 14 months or whatever, but it's the truth, and I think it's going to continue to be a theme. If the Eagles lose on Sunday, it's mostly going to be self-inflicted mistakes, which again, to play to the people that are maybe a little cautious or they're playing into the hangover, the rust, well, then that's the script then, right? It's, the Eagles are rusty for whatever reason that they want to blame it on. And the home team with the experienced head coach and a good defense takes advantage of it, right? Honestly, and maybe I'll ask the fan, I'll ask you guys, what is if you had to put in your biggest concern entering week 1 as an Eagles fan, what is it other than just the sheer unknown?
I don't have a concern.
It's a good feeling.
I don't have a concern until you give me a reason to have a concern. Make sense? I ain't going to come in. I see people in the chat. I see people scared. What are we scared about? We're the big bad wolf. Go act like it. You know what I mean? You're the big bad wolf in the NFC. So you better come out and act like it. Because if you're a healthy football team and you're not the big bad wolf, we're all going to have questions on these airways through the rest of this year if they're not. And there's going to be a lot of finger pointing. And I'm not telling you got to win a Super Bowl or bust, but you better be back in an NFC title game. And then we always talk about it. You get the place like that, Anything can happen in the one and done situations. But you better be back in that. Are you kidding me? This football team better be back in, or it's either we don't want to talk about major injuries or the fact, like I said, the only other way I see is if your quarterback takes a step back. And that's the last thing on my mind right now. That's the last thing on my mind is because I know his mental makeup. And we all do, right? And I expect his mental makeup to go right into this football team where we talk about hangovers. I'm a big advocate of the Super Bowl hangover for certain teams. For certain teams, it's real when you're one-hit wonder. All right? But when you're a legit build-out football team, like Cincinnati, like us, right? You're going to be probably back in that conversation. Now, did they get off to a slow start last year? Sure, right?
But then they got really hot at the end.
Yeah, they got scorched out, right? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't make an argument in the week one, right, Ralphie? But what makes the argument in the week one is that their quarterback's like a leader. Ours is like an alien. Like he's like what you would design. He's like AI. Like he's what I would design to be my quarterback in terms of mental makeup. Like you know what I mean? He just is. We didn't think the physical tools were going to be there, and they're there, right? They're there for a lot of reasons. So I'm not going to come into this season even a little bit nervous. I'm going to walk with my goddamn chest out, right? And we all should, okay? Because the curse ended in this city. Why not us? Why Super Bowl hangover? Bills went to 4. I mean, how many hangovers they have? Took them to the 4th one to finally get a hangover. Then they're oh my God, this is tiresome. 4 in a row.
I think the only concern, I mean, for me, I really don't have any concerns because it's like the last time we saw these starters play was in the Super Bowl, right? And it's like they don't play preseason, so you really don't, where's the concerns for the starters, right? I think the only concern that you could have was, is Cam Jurgens going to be that guy for you filling that spot, right? But yet again, it's not like he played for a different team for 5 years and then came in as a free agent, right? He's been in the house, he's been home, he's been in the system already for a couple years now, sitting the bench a little bit, playing here when people get hurt and just, soaking up all the system up. And I think if you could go into week one, I think that could be realistically your only concern is how Cam Jurgens will be doing this year so far coming up.
And he was hand selected by Kelsey too, Ralphie. You know what I'm saying? Like we were talking about, to where it's does that listen? The hand selection by Kelsey doesn't mean anything if the guy doesn't turn out to be able to play, right? So to all of our points, it's an organization that doesn't really miss in that position either, right? Like, so it's not Kelsey can handpick him. That's awesome, right? But we're just going to put it now in the organization. Howie's pretty good at it. Good at it. His scouts are pretty good at it, and they have the offensive line wizard. Turn a rugby guy into like
a Pro Bowler, right? Or an All Pro, whatever the case may be, or legit paid left tackle in the National Football League. So I mean, listen, if Cam Jurgens is our biggest issue coming this year,
I'm fine with it.
Right. I'll see you guys all on Broad Street.
Ralphie, to your point about the last time we saw these guys with the Super Bowl,
I think Rad kicked out,
and we lost.
Well, let's read some comments real quick, and we can keep that. We'll keep the question. Jacob says Swift 200 yards from scrimmage Sunday.
Parlay time, player prop.
Bobby Eagles, what up, Bobby? He said they're retiring Brady's number, and that's going to be the highlight of their day. Birds 34-3.
Oh my
Hashtag
God!
Roll job.
Is that Noah?
Nah, he'd be in the 40s.
Yeah,
true.
I'm gonna go 50.
How about 72?
But I do believe this. I do believe the Eagles are going to play smash mouth football. I believe
so too.
that we're going to run the
Points
ball.
coming, and they won't stop going. They're going to hit the ground running.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
I guess if you're really looking for a concern, right? For diving deep for concerns, it'd be okay. Nick's calling plays again, but it's is that really our coach is an offensive guy? So he got hired because of his ability to call plays, right? And that's just easy. Okay, so and the last two coaches to lose, the last two guys lost on opening day. They weren't here anymore. They were fired. So proceed with caution this year. Nick's not getting fired, but you understand what I'm saying? Like if our offensive head-minded head coach can't call plays at a high level with the talent sprinkled around this offense, well, again, we're going to have a lot of finger pointing this year.
Is it fair to say that my biggest concern is what the safeties are? Because and that's not even a shot at Blankenship, because I actually like him a little bit. Maybe not as much as Craig from the Bold Prediction Show, but like I think, again, who knows, right? Nobody knows more than the people in that building, right? So clearly he's shown enough.
Yeah, but don't go that far.
Okay,
right?
the majority.
I would tell you, Sydney. I would tell you, Brown's better
than Blankenship
or whoever, right? Like whoever the other
Edmonds,
guy.
Edmonds,
but they don't feel comfortable with a rookie safety, right? They don't feel comfortable. So it's a hard position as a youngster, right?
And that's not their MO either.
It's not their MO. And you know why? Like, it's a fair thing to say. Like, their safeties are, like, it's not greatest safety tandem of all time here. Now, I think both are solid, right? So we just overlook it. But I think because of our front seven and our corners, we don't give a shit what's back. You can just throw whatever you want, fill out your roster. Like, we don't even care. So, I mean, that just goes to show how uber talented the rest of our defense is.
If your front seven's good, then it makes everything else look great. You know what I mean? So
Umberto said a couple times, or I'm sorry, go ahead, Greg. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say a slight concern and kind of to be piggybacking off of Tommy is, and I don't think it's going to be a long-term concern, but hey, this is their first game on the road for both your new offensive and defensive coordinators. Now, granted, Nick is calling plays, but you know, it's a slight concern, I think, going into game one.
Guys, if you forget what you're doing, like if you don't know your personnel, if you're not qualified. No, the way it's concerned is if you're not qualified for a goddamn job, right? If you're not qualified for a job, then I don't know if he can do it, right? And maybe it is something with they're trusting Brian Johnson being, not qualified, but like ready to really call plays by himself. Maybe that's where Nick feels like, hey, I'm going to help him with this transition. So that could be a mutual transition too. Sure. Like that could be a mutual conversation that they're like, hey, we're going to tag team it like we talked about earlier, and we'll see where we get by the end of the year. But I see all the little concerns. I mean, there always is, right?
Yeah.
But Sidney Brown, I mean, I think he plays by week 7 or 8. I think halfway through the year he's probably playing.
Starting wise?
Yeah, because he seemed to be around the football a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Around the football a lot. And SLR says he thought Brian Johnson was calling plays, but I thought Nick, sort of said he was calling plays. Now, that could have changed, right? But I would feel like Brian Johnson has the ear of the quarterback, too. And it wouldn't make sense. Like, he knows Jalen. Like, when I talk about coaching players, I always talk about, knowing what makes them tick. It's a big part of it, right? So, he knows what makes them tick. So, I don't know. I would think that he can handle that job, right?
Or they might have it, because I know before when Doug came over, when we hired Doug, I know there was a thing where him and Andy would split play calling duties. Like Andy would do the first half and then Doug would do the second, or Doug would do the first half and then Andy would take over the second. So maybe there's something in there where, Nick does the first half and then, Brian takes over in the second half, or I don't know, something like that. But I mean, yeah, if Nick's going to calling plays again, where I know that was one of his biggest things, where he even said it last year. He wanted to get rid of, get away from calling plays and just be a coach and the head coach and be a part of everything.
It's hard, right? When you it's almost like running a business, right? Like you got to know how to do everything, but you can't do everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's impossible to do everything. So you got to pick and choose, what you're able to do, and then still run a 53-man locker room, right? Still be able to be the voice in the room, right? But I also think it says something to how he believes the makeup of his locker room is, that he believes in the leaders enough to say, I don't got to police everyday stuff in there per se. I got the guys in place to do that where, hey, you know what? I can help out with things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can supply my services through Brian Johnson. Let me help a little bit. Why not? Right. And obviously, like I said, I think it's a collaborative effort. And I think Nick's
leaders involved. And
Nick's shown the ability to walk away from it. So why not again? Right.
Yeah.
Like if he's not doing it, but in week 1, I could see where we're, stay on the same page. Like week 1, I get that, could be a little bit of a concern. Like, we're going to come out on fire, but I think it goes to, like, if we run the football, boys, you're going to get yourself in rhythm, right? Yes. Sort of create rhythm if you can run the football at a high enough level. So I'm just excited. I don't even give a shit. You can win by half a point somehow. Eagles won by half a point. How the hell did that happen? They won 31 to 32 and a half, or sorry, 30 and a half.
That sounds like Vegas calling.
Isn't it funny, though, that New Year, doesn't matter what the roster looks like, what the quarterback situation looks like. Isn't it funny, though, how we always come back to, if we run the football effectively, if we run the football like the way we should, that we should, like, control the game and dominate the game? Like, isn't that just it's so funny how it just seems like that's the MO of, like, every year going into it?
No, I think when you talk about the Eagles, I think it's always, glass half full mentality, right? Like, we're always, like, excited.
Yeah.
No matter what the roster is. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did put around a lot of good people, SLR, they do have people that they trust. So, whatever that means. And Marshall said he's not worried about Sean Desai. So that's good. I mean, I'm not, like, worried about him just because, like, anything but Gannon is better in my eyes.
Everything's better than Gannon.
I was going to say, by the way, is my audio okay now? I think Belichick was trying to hack into my microphone. I was going to say, Tom, this is a big game for you, right? Like, we got to decide if, like, this is going to be like the new Gannon or if it's going to be like peacetime, right? With the defensive coordinators, right? Like, this is a big moment.
It is. It really is. I mean, this is like, we find a lot about your defense. Like, if Mac Jones is carving you up, you're like, oh my God.
Mac Jones coming out 4-15.
Yeah, we're improving.
You got the fire in the belly. Did you take a bus here?
Like, if we're in like a prevent the whole time and giving them, like, underneath routes, right, and letting them get into a rhythm, I might drive the Boston. I might drive the Boston.
Boston's a great city this time. I might take a trip. I had to take a trip up there.
Great take, Tommy. I don't even know what I said, Greg. We're just super excited here. Umberto says he thinks Gainwell leads all running backs in rushing this year. His playoff run was impressive. I do think that that played a part in sort of what they brought in this offseason. Is they've grown trust in Kenny Gainwell.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think also they're and it's smart to be. I would imagine they're mildly going to be cautious about the health of DeAndre Swift, since he didn't show any consistency of health when he was in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Which plays
and Penny also,
Penny, right?
Well, definitely with Penny, So it's kind of like, okay, you bring in two guys that on their own, when healthy, they could be kind of, well, definitely Swift. I think with Penny, especially in the small sample sizes of him being healthy, you could argue, yes, he could be a lead back. It's like, okay, let's bring in these two injury-prone but very high upside running backs and pair him with Kenny Gainwell, who we believe in, right? Like, we drafted him a handful of years ago, and he did big things in the playoffs. And let's just go to work. Like we've talked about for years, both talking about our running backs and just the running back, position of value, the whole shebang, where we won a Super Bowl with a running back by committee. You know what I'm saying? A LeGarrette Blount that the entire NFL world 6 months prior said, oh, he's done. He's burnt toast. You know what I'm saying? You get Jay Ajayi at the deadline. You get an undrafted free agent, a local hero in Corey Clement.
And the fact that when you look at a guy like Hurts, we've talked about this too. When you look at a guy who can run like Hurts and you put it in the belly, take it out, people got to respect that. That creates holes. That creates natural holes for you and running lanes. So, I mean, I'm not saying you can get any back, but like if a guy's good and talented, right? Like a guy can have a really good year in this type of offense if Jalen's healthy. Like if Jalen's healthy, like I don't really care. You can put Boston Scott back there. I bet you he runs, if he stays healthy, I bet you he runs for 1,300. I bet you if he got, if he got 15 carries a game, run for 1,300 yards.
And on top of it too, not only the RPO, but the offensive line alone.
Yeah, well, I didn't even
You know
get
what I mean?
there.
Yeah,
We didn't even
yeah.
get there.
That's what I'm
we
saying.
will.
I was adding on, right? You're going
Yeah, please.
RPO. I'll go O-line. I'll go with the big boys.
Greg, if you
Yeah.
didn't do it, I was. So we were both in the same direction.
That's why Baltimore runs the ball when Lamar,
Yeah.
you know, obviously when Lamar won MVP and they're
It's
running
healthy.
at a ridiculous level because, like, I'm a linebacker. I got to decide. And with decisions come, I get on my heels. I freeze. I don't move for a half a second. Half a second at this level is an eternity. And now guys by you. We talked about if Miles ever got upfield, goddamn, once in a while. You know, I know his daddy on the airways here would disagree. But if he ever got uphill enough, right, he could might as well run for 1,800 yards in this offense if he could stay healthy and put his foot in the goddamn ground and get upfield because
He might be still in midnight green. He might be in midnight green still.
Can I add fumbling to that too in the Super Bowl twice? Can I
Yeah, he's
add
a
that?
softie. He's a softie.
Yeah, can I just add that in there just for
Then he was out. Then he was, you know what I mean? And he wasn't.
then he was
playing anymore.
underutilized. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
you fumbled the ball
underutilized.
in the first play. It kind of happened.
Bro, you fumbled the ball. You fumbled the ball to your own coach. I think one of
That's
the-
how we're talking about
Excuse
this
you got
week one.
here.
Thanks for the
I
ball.
know
You ain't
it's
seeing this the rest of the game.
Well, listen, I always said it, and people gave me heat for this. I said, people always used to be like, oh, Doug doesn't use him. No, Deuce wasn't using him. So, like, everybody loves Deuce. Like, Deuce, right? And then, like, I'm trying to tell people this is Deuce's decision because the guy doesn't want to get uphill or get downhill, sorry. And now look where we're at. Look where we're at.
It was literally shown, and I understand, like, you know, it's tough to really understand what's going on via camera, right? But in that Cincinnati Bengals game a handful of years ago, the camera showed Deuce Staley going nuts on Miles Sanders on the sideline. What happens? You don't see Miles Sanders for the rest of the game. Everyone in the media is like, well, why didn't we see Sanders? Watch the game. It shows it. It shows it.
Right in front of her face. But now, you know, now we got a bunch of different backs that can do, you know, a bunch of different things. It brings you a lot of versatility. All right. And it kicks us right into week one. All right. And it's time for us. What we're going to do, like we always do, we'll give our score prediction and then we'll circle around and we'll do, you know, we'll do our offensive, defensive players of the game. And what we want everybody out there to do is give us yours. Give us your score. Offense, defensive player of the game's a tiebreaker. Say it every year. Your chance. We'll start off this year with $50. $50 Venmo to you if you hit the score. You got to hit the score. If there's a tie for the score, then what we're going to need is we'll go to offense, defensive player. And that's how we'll decipher the tie. So all you got to do is just screenshot it, save it, and if you hit it, send it on over. DM us. And while you're at it, make sure you follow, hit the like, subscribe, turn our alert on, maybe a couple. But this is going to be brought to you by Royal Billiards. Find all your game room and man cave needs at royalbilliards.com. All right. And they got hot tubs still. So it's an adult playground. Okay. Royal Billiards, I'm just going to go off script. It's an adult playground.
There, you do have a patio pad right next to the out back.
Oh, it's been talked about, Greg. You know, I'm not saying I'm getting backlash. I'm just saying that it's not all agreements.
Hasn't been approved yet.
Has not been approved. We're waiting for that paperwork to come back. Might be a long time.
The league offices are reviewing the contract.
The NFLPA is trying to help me out with it, but they're, you know,
Former
just
hearing
fighting an
with
uphill
Goodell
battle
on Monday.
But go check out royalbilliard.com. I think you're going to love a lot of their stuff. Let them know A2D Radio sent you. They're the best, and they're right in PA. So not far away from anybody.
That's awesome.
From anybody at all. So what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to give you our score prediction, and then we're going to give you our offensive, defensive players of the game. So I think they are in, I want to believe they're in Colmar, PA. Which is not that far. So, and they're obviously closed right now, but they open at 10 a.m. So go check them out. And you can just go check out their website too. Go see what you like. Go upgrade your adult cave, unlike me. I won't be able to, but everybody else. Make sure you guys out there do it. I don't know. Like, you know, week one's like hard too, right? Like I must give everybody a pass in predictions week one because it really is like a tough read. Like, I'm always a believer. Like, I want to see my football team year to year play, even though this team's awesome and they should be awesome. But like nailing the score is like always a little tough week one. But I think they get to 27. Like I do. I don't think they're scoring like I don't think they can. They can go score 40 on somebody's ass. I'm not gonna say they can't. But I'm not gonna go crazy like that. So I'm gonna go 27-10. I do not know where they get their offense. I really just don't know where they get their offense. And somebody wants to tell me how. I don't know. Yeah, they can run the ball a little bit, but like Rice said, they got 3 offensive linemen down. Like that doesn't bode well against this defense.
Not great.
So, I mean, I don't know what Vegas is on. They're on week one. They're on some nonsense. But, I mean, I would load up. And we'll get in the locks later. But if you like a bunch of load ups, like load up. Go dabble. What do you got to lose besides a ton of money? And you'll hate the Eagles for like the rest of the year. So, the time's yours now. You want to go.
And a possible hot tub.
Or go win a bunch of money and get yourself a hot tub.
Go get yourself a hot tub.
Or listen, get a pool table.
It's a good time.
That's what I'm allowed to buy. I'm allowed to buy a pool table. I don't even want to. You know what I mean? This is what you get into with marriage. Like, Lamb wants the pool table. I'm a tub guy. I want to like.
You're a water guy. You're a water guy.
I like to
Give
get my
some
paws.
sort of body of water.
I like to get my paws and stuff, you know. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm at. You know, I probably should have said 27-17. But I want to go out on a limb, and I want to show some love to a defense that I think should be elite. Right? I believe it should be elite. Elite holds them to 10. Elite's like, oh, did you even show up today? You guys still in preseason, Bill? What's going on, Bill O'Brien? I like Bill O'Brien now. I do like Bill O'Brien, but no, 27-10.
I forgot he is there.
Yeah,
he's back with Billy.
He's back, and he's good. He's good at his job, right? So, you know, I like Bill. Very good at his job. But Jonathan Gannon did say to that, you guys, when we were back on Nick Sirianni, he suggested to Nick to hand the play calling over to Shane in the middle of the 2021 season. John, just let everybody know that. Like, you know what? You know what I did? You're such a loser, dude. You're such a loser. I can't wait for them to maybe go winless. I would love to see them go
Dobbs season in Arizona, baby.
Oh, my God. I can't wait. Please go. Please go.
Josh Dobbs beat out Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy's gone.
Oh, was he?
Gone. Yeah.
About time. I mean,
he might be in a hot tub. He might be in a hot tub somewhere.
He should be in a cold tub. He should be in a cold tub. Well, actually, he didn't do anything. Like, oh, he did. Every time he started, I felt like he got the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
I mean, every time he started, I felt like this Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy was definitely that guy that we were like, he's still in the league.
Still going.
Yeah. If I was Colt McCoy, I'd be pissed because I'm like getting injured every part of my body every single week, and then I see Chase Daniel holding a clipboard making like $45 million more than me. I'm like, couldn't I just been that guy? Couldn't I just been that guy? And
he's the guy in the world, right? Getting paid millions.
Hey, Frank,
Yes.
can you find out how much Colt McCoy's made in his career? I'm just curious about Colt McCoy's career earnings. He's probably loaded.
Oh, 100%.
Good for
And
him.
he's a Texas oil boy, I think.
Oh, is he?
Okay, he's fine. I don't feel bad for him anymore.
Well, I don't know. I just know he went to Texas, right? That's
Yeah.
He went to
Yeah, he
Texas.
did.
Yeah, he knows people. And he knows.
Well, you're just now assuming that there's a, you just did a lot of assumptions there. The Texas oil boy
100%.
like, might be a billionaire. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
All right.
You're out here
After
billionaire.
14,
Like Johnny.
After 14 career seasons, and for a good chunk of them, I forgot he was still in the league. He made $26.45 million.
26, did you say?
26.
And for 14
And
years.
it did a little bit of rounding. So almost 26.5 million
Over his career? Okay.
over his career.
That's good work. I mean,
Chase Daniels probably had like 200 million. Just
Tom, go
Find
into
out.
Tom. While Frank's looking at that, go into the quote that you referenced with Gannon.
yeah.
And speaking of gambling, I would gamble an absurd amount of money that did not happen. What Gannon said, like at any facet, because it just doesn't make sense. Like, and it's funny because we on the show had a very similar conversation a couple weeks ago talking about like what's it going to be? Is Nick going to call the plays? If it goes bad again, is he going to hand it off? Like all that. So it's very ironic that this comes out.
Yeah.
I just don't believe anything Gannon says, especially like this is a guy that like 3 months ago was involved like a whole thing with how like, oh, was it collusion like during the Super Bowl, right? Like there was like a whole investigation.
right? Like
Yeah,
now it's supposed to be like
yep.
that. Oh, like he was leading the charge of like, oh, well, we might be out of a job if you don't switch it. It's like, dude, you didn't know, like, first off, you're wearing sunglasses like indoors, which is not great. And the second thing is like you didn't even know how to run like one of the best defenses the city's ever seen, especially the last 20 years. So now you're gonna like you were like the brain trust of like this whole like movement into like how you're gonna restructure the entire coaching staff. Like, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's like this to stop talking. Time to stop talking. That's enough. Get a mic out of his face, all right, and go try to win some football games, right? Get that fire in your belly, John. You loser. All right, score prediction. Yeah, score predictions.
I was just gonna say real quick. I actually want them to win a couple games so they don't get the number 1 pick. So like they don't like they're too good for their own like misgivings.
Yeah, I don't need them.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I don't need them.
Caleb Williams,
Caleb Williams might come back. Yeah.
What's up,
Back
Derek?
to USC. So
What's up, brother?
Probably makes more money.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Ralphie.
100%.
Ralphie.
What's up?
Score.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
At the beginning, I had the Eagles winning by double digits. I'm gonna keep it the same. 31-17 Birds.
I love it. I love it. Let's eat.
Frank.
While I don't say double digits, Eagles get the job done. 27-21.
All right, a little closer.
I'm right in the same ballpark. I'll say 27-17. That's why I made a noise earlier, Tom, when you're like, oh, I might go 27-17. I'm like, no.
Don't do it. Everybody stay on there. Everybody stay where they're at.
I got 23-20.
That's going to be stressful as hell. That's going to be stressful.
Goes back to your poll because you disagree. So
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Consistency.
Makes sense, yeah.
So remember, drop your score prediction in here. Offense, defensive player of the game. The pool starts at $50 week 1. Every
And you
week,
got to screenshot it.
and you got to screenshot and send it over if you hit it. And every week, the money goes up if somebody doesn't hit. So every week goes up $50. So dabble in. Make sure you put your offense, defensive player of the game in. You don't want to lose a tiebreaker. And that's what we're going to get into now. We all gave our score predictions. I agree actually with Umberto. That's one of the reasons I pulled it up here. I think it's Devontae's turn. You know, I think Devontae has a monster game, and I'm right around them. You know,
Captain talk.
Yeah, I was anywhere. I know it goes over 100 where I had him, but I have him getting 2 TDs. So I have Devontae getting 2 TDs. And you know, you can make jam. I mean, there's a lot of different guys to choose from, which is great about this offense. So I'm gonna go Devontae.
Ralphie.
I'm gonna go the newly acquired DeAndre Swift. Give me 2 tutties for Swifty.
Oh.
Frank, you want me to go?
I'll go.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna go with the gimme, and I think he'll be our MVP this season. Jalen Hurts does it all for us.
I mentioned it earlier. AJ Brown versus small cornerbacks. Bad thing for the opponent, good thing for the Eagles. I'll go AJ Brown.
Go with AJ Brown. All right, now we go to the defense side of the football.
Greg, did you go?
No, maybe he didn't. Sorry, Greg.
I'm gonna really the last one left. I just go Dallas Goedert.
I was gonna say it. Quez.
I thought about it.
Oh my god,
That'd be a stunner. That'd be something.
I thought about it.
Something.
Imagine if he caught that deep ball in the Super Bowl.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, yeah, imagine, but don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the defensive side of the football. And I think it's easy to go. A lot of people are going to go Jalen Carter, so I won't. I'll leave him up for grabs. I'm going to go Nakobe Dean. Double-digit tackles. I think he either forces a fumble or gets a pick. But I think he's all over the football field, and I think
what if he forces a fumble by just swiping at the ball?
Still counts. Still counts. We're counting that. Yeah, but that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I think he's going to shut a lot of people up this year because a lot of people weren't believing. We remember this, right? I mean, it wasn't that long ago. A lot of beat writers, a lot of guys who freaking ball sacks are so dry. It's unbelievable. And I don't have a clue about sports, but are great writers. You know what I mean? Want to give credit where it's due. I'm not saying you're not a great writer, but some, not all. This isn't an equal opportunity situation here. said he didn't know the playbook. So I'm curious to see how that turns out this year. I can't wait to see him learn the playbook. Double-digit tackles. People are like, wait, I guess he learned something.
My defensive player of the game is going to be no other than Nolan Smith. Give me 2 sacks.
Nolan Smith. Wow.
Ooh.
2 sacks.
Not on a limb.
Frank?
Okay.
I'm going to go. Give me Hassan Reddick.
I have to go Brandon Graham against the Patriots, right? I just have to, right? It's fitting. Yeah. I know Brady's not on the field. Yeah,
he's watching.
Oh yeah, he'll be watching. He'll probably be in the building. Yeah, give me BG again. Like, I love the Nolan pick out of you, Ralphie. I just like we talked about like week 1 and stuff. I just don't know how much those guys are going to play. Like we know it's a rotation. We know like it's Nolan's going to get more than 2 snaps, right? BJ's going to be on the field. BG's going to be on the field. And he's coming off a hell of a year, too. And 1 year healthier.
Yeah, that's a big key, too, right? We talk about it in just about every sport, right? That second year back from one of those devastating leg injuries, whether it's the ACL or the Achilles, right? At this second year back, you're almost like, a bionic man.
I had his best career season off the major injury.
Yeah.
It's like, are we gonna get better from this? Okay, that's fine.
I will kick off and I will start the party on my bold prediction. I will go Reed Blankenship. Give me a pick.
I knew it.
Start that off right week 1. Let's do it.
I like that you're going low, Reed. All right. Look at you. We see you. Oh, Jesus Christ. Look at this guy.
We see him. Oh, jeez.
Look at him.
Something you'd like to add, sir?
We started 50 minutes ago.
I know.
Well,
that's all I got, Frank. Sorry.
Good talk.
Yeah, great talk. You got something to add in? We see
Yeah,
it.
I told you I'm dropping in the second half of the show.
I know, and I see it.
What's up?
So
I'm liking all your guys' predictions, by the way, as far as players in the game, offensive, defensive. I like that pick on Reed too, Greg. Nice start.
So, are you going to do the Jalen Carter, Crump? Are you going to be the Jalen Carter guy?
No. If you want me to go now, I'm going with the same guy I went with last year, week 1, and I think new contract. I'm going James Bradbury with a pick here.
I almost thought going with James Bradbury. I'm like, let's just do Hassan.
About time you showed up, Chrome.
So you think like so you're what you're saying is you think Bradbury has a little bit of a revenge game per se, not against obviously he didn't play against the Patriots, but
he's got a lot to prove.
Yeah,
he's got a lot to prove. And last year too, I think if you look a lot of his career, he starts off really well. So, and he did last year. I think he had 2 picks in the first game that we had. So, I think a pick, maybe 2 here at a pivotal point in the game. Momentum swing. Yeah, I'm gonna go with James.
I'm really interested to see how Jordan Davis plays. He's like one of those like it's funny on a team and a roster where there's a lot of microscope guys where it's like, oh, I'm interested to see who fill in the blank, how they play, and you can name like 50 guys, right? That would kind of fill that role. I'm really interested to see, right? Because it's almost like I don't want to say like Jalen Carter has taken the spotlight away from him, but in a way he has, right? For obvious reasons, right? Like Jalen Carter's a hell of a player, but so is at least we think and we expect Jordan Davis to be also, right? And like he was hampered with the injuries, the out of shape, the whole thing. It's just I'm very interested to see how he plays. Very, very interested.
Yeah, I think he's, I would think he'd be. I think he's going to have a good year.
And I think a lot of familiarity as far as more of the guys that he played in Georgia with. I think having Jalen there is going to be really helpful for him as well.
Yeah,
another year in his belt. He looks like he's in way better shape than he was last year. So you have to think something's going to be a little more positive, and he'll see more of the field this year.
Umberto wants to know why we don't have a punter and it's Wednesday.
Great question.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's Sipas. I guess because isn't he like technically still on the roster?
Yeah, he's on the practice squad,
I think
so they can bring him up.
Yeah, they're calling Sipas up, and then I guess they're like trying out different punters over the course of the year. At least some guys they're trying to bring in, but they're going to keep Sipas for now and then.
Yeah, practice squad punter that they're gonna bring up and send down every Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, that's crazy. It really is crazy. So I don't know what they're doing. Nobody does.
And especially with I don't know what the situation is. I know he was cleared and everything, but like with a guy like Matt Araiza out there, I mean, dude's nickname is Punt God. I mean, you'd think that you would at least bring him in for a workout. Whether you signed him or not, completely different, but they're not even bringing him in for a workout. I think the dude was drafted in the 3rd round.
Yeah, a little strange. Just a little strange how they're going about the whole situation, right? It's
the whole special teams too, right? There's no real returner either.
There's guys who can do it.
There's guys who can do it.
I think it's going to be Scott, to be honest. I think it's going to be Boston Scott. Who the hell knows? But that's the only thing I can think of, right? It's that like he has experience with it. But who the hell knows?
Yeah, I mean Scott. I was thinking Quez might go back there.
Well,
Devontae's done it in the past.
Want a guy who gets the ball first, Greg. Want to make sure he has the ball before we worry about running. Does he have the ball?
Devontae's one guy experienced, but I definitely don't want to see him back.
No, I agree there, Chrome.
Somebody said a few weeks ago, I was reading like, it should either be Devontae Smith or DeAndre or Devontae Smith or DeAndre Swift. And I'm like, first off, the DeAndre Swift thing makes less sense than Devontae because you want him to make it through week 5. Do you want him to?
Yeah, I don't really buy into like getting hurt with it though as much as prior because you're just back there to catch the football. Like you can literally tell guys like, hey, I just want you to fair catch everything. You know what I mean? Like I don't like chalk it up to like you can get hit going over the middle. So
sure,
at least there you can decide where you're going to run. You can almost dictate more of the hit you're going to take. Like, I just want a guy catching the ball. I don't really care how many yards they gained from it. I just want it recede, no fumble, let my offense get on the football field. So, listen, I would assume, don't birthday thing, I'm not going to like act like the special team doesn't matter. What I'm going to say is your kicker matters. And we got one new sign who's really good. So that matters. That's a big part of your special teams. And young players going down and making tackles, right? That's a big part of your special teams. And halftime, you kick the ball out of the end zone anyway. So you kick the ball in the end or out of the end zone, period. It's what the league's set up to do. So really, your most important special teams becomes your punt return, right? And your punter, right? That'd be your third part of your special teams. And, the guy can punt a ball. So do you have enough young guys to go down there and make tackles? You're not going to know about your special teams until your special teams plays. So that's like one part of your roster that's hard to be like, our special teams is awesome. Unless you know like every player on your special teams and you've seen them play special teams at a high level, you don't know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we'll find out about how good our punt return unit is. We'll find out how good our punt defense is. We're going to find out all about that stuff. But like, I'm not – come on, our whole freaking roster's goddamn loaded. What are we talking? Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? They're without a punter. We know. It's comical because they don't expect a punt. All right. So how about that? We don't need it. We don't need a goddamn punt.
When's the league going to there? Right? No punters, no kickers.
They're just getting ahead of it.
But why would we have like bad field position, Teddy? Like, Sipas did fine last year until he got hurt. Right? He was fine. It wasn't like, I don't remember it being like, oh my God, every week this guy, we got to get rid of him as we're just crushing teams. Like, got to get rid of him. We're not even freaking punting like twice a game. Begging to get rid of him? Who cares?
And maybe it was a different punter a few years ago because, again, we don't pay attention to that stuff really. But I remember a couple years ago when we had, such a bad team. What was it, 2020, 2021, whatever. Or no, 2020, I guess it was. And we were like, what's the strength of the team? And only people could say is the punter. I'm pretty sure that was Sipas.
Oh,
how the mighty have fallen.
Or was it Cameron? or it might have been Cameron Johnston, because he succeeded Bag of Bones after the Super Bowl year.
I'm not sure. Could have been him. If so, good for him.
Yeah, Wayne, 4th and whatever every series. Doesn't matter. Does not matter.
You guys want to go through the slate?
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah.
You want me to bring it up?
Yeah, Ralph.
Oh.
Shoot.
All right. All right. Opening night, Lions, Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 5.5.
Lions cover.
Yeah, I take the Lions covering as well.
Me too.
Me 3.
Actually, what we're doing, because we do locks as we do this anyway, so you might as well lock that.
I'm gonna go Chiefs. All right, yeah, I'm gonna go Chiefs.
Good to have you over there.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. Although I kind of am with you guys. I just wanted to go the opposite direction. The Chris Jones not being there is going to be huge for them until he's back.
And no Kelsey.
And no Kelsey, probably.
And no Kelsey.
Yeah.
Shit, I forgot about that one.
Sky Moore, 200 yards.
Oh my God.
Rasheed Rice.
Lock of the week. Sky Moore over. Sky Moore over. Lock of the week.
There's Tony.
Sunday games now. 49ers at Pittsburgh. 49ers are favored by 2.5.
Well, they have Bosa now, so that's.
Give me Pittsburgh.
Upset. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That'd be a real shame.
If you find another Pennsylvania team, you hate to see it, you know? You hate to see it.
Don't come over here.
Last time they were here.
Just stay away from the state all together.
I hope the Steelers fans, those damn users, I hope they just rip the crap out of the fans too.
Yeah. Give me the Steelers.
Yeah, I'll go Niners. That way everyone's not picking the Steelers.
No, I'm going to go Niners as well.
I will take the Niners.
Steelers, top row. Let's go.
Let's go.
Giddy up. All right, Ralphie. Next one.
Next game, divisional game, Panthers at Falcons. Falcons are favored by 3.5.
Yeah, I'm a Bryce Young guy, so give me Carolina.
Give me Carolina too, man.
Carolina, I like Carolina as well.
What's the line?
3.5.
I'll take Atlanta.
I'm on Team Frank. Give me Atlanta.
You all right?
Yeah, I have Carolina.
Okay. Next game is Texans at Baltimore. Baltimore is favored by 10.
Yeah, it's a tough place for a guy like CJ Stroud to play. Play his first game, man.
Baltimore. They might win by 60.
Lamar's actually healthy right now.
I'm going Baltimore in this one as well.
I'll take Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore.
Charm City. Is that the Charm City? Or is that just
next game is another divisional game. Bengals at Browns. Bengals are favored by 2.5.
Give me the Browns. Oh, there you
go. Give me the Browns, and I'm also going to make the and that's going to be my first of the locks. Give me the Browns.
The Browns? You're locking Massage Boy?
Oh, shit.
I'm going to go Bengals.
Give me Joey
give me Cincinnati. Next game is Tampa at Minnesota. Minnesota's getting 6.
Minnesota, lock of the week.
Minnesota's giving 6.
We're giving 6, in my bad.
Minnesota getting 6.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Either way, Minnesota. Either way, the Minnesota.
It's giving 6 at home.
If you want to do it the other way around.
Ralphie was doing so good from a couple years ago, not even, didn't even talk it, to now he's like, trying to, read them out.
Teach them on the
Come
air.
on, Ralph.
Give me the Buccaneers to cover that. Cover 6. Minnesota plays everybody close, even when they shouldn't. even when they shouldn't. So
I
actually,
think
you
they
know
were
what?
11. I think they were 11. I think they were undefeated at one point last year and won score games or something like that.
11
it
and
was-
1, I think they finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But give me the
And
Bucks.
they had a very bad point differential.
Let me get the Bucks as a lock here at 6 to cover that.
Vikings.
I'll take Vikings as well.
I'll take the Vikings.
Next game is Arizona at Washington. Washington is favored by 7.
That's scary.
Nobody.
That Washington is giving 7 to any team.
Nobody watches the game. Lock of the week. That's my lock of the week.
All right.
By the way, it is a sellout for them. It is their first sellout in many years down in Washington.
Give me the
Joshua
Commanders.
Harris is so happy. Joshua.
I hate Washington, but I also hate Jonathan Gannon. So give me Washington.
The fighting
Yeah,
Sam
I'll
House.
take Washington as well.
Yeah, Washington.
I am going to take that bus and run over Jonathan Gannon. Give me Washington as well, and my lock Sam Howell over 1.5 pass touchdowns.
Nice. Next game is Tennessee at New Orleans. New Orleans are favored by 3.
This will be my first lock. Give me New Orleans.
I agree with Craig.
Minus the 3.
I was going to lock that one as well. But, yeah, I'll take New Orleans.
The New Orleans is giving 3.
Yeah.
I will take New Orleans.
At home.
That's another guy who just always has his football team ready to play, though. You know, and Mike Vrabel. So,
No, you're right.
You know, give me the fighting Vrabels, and let me lock that. Let me lock that too, because they're the type of team that would start out hot.
Damn, he's not going to be there for Brady Day too. Damn, I don't know.
Fizzle. You know what I mean? They would be a team
No,
that
you're
got
right.
out.
Yeah.
They'd be a team to get out to like 3 or 4 wins in a row, and then they fizzle.
Yeah.
And Tanny can throw a little bit. He does got a legit wide receiver in the house. You know what I mean? New Orleans defense is pretty good. Should be. That was Derek Carr, so they're going to be a better football team. But freaking New Orleans.
A lot of people think Tennessee is going to be like this, like top 5 overall pick type team. I just don't buy it. Like, do I think they're a playoff team? No, but a lot of people were just
They're
like, "Oh,
8-9
yeah,
win
Tennessee."
team.
Yeah, you know,
This is who they are. They're tough.
Yes, yeah, exactly. They're going to play team
Yeah.
stuff. They're going to lose. They're going to lose games against the far better opponents, but they're going to throw in some upsets there. That's just what they do. With that being said, I go with the Saints.
To finish out the 1:00 games, Jacksonville at Indianapolis. Jacksonville's favored by 4.5.
Lock it, Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's
What a line.
Well, I guess it's because the road. What they're on the road.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why it's probably not a touchdown or more. But rookie quarterback, Jacksonville.
Yeah, give me the Jags.
Now to the 4:00 games. Raiders at
Give me
Broncos.
Jacksonville.
Broncos are favored by 4.
Raiders at Broncos.
I'm sorry. What was the line? 4 for who?
4 for Denver.
Denver's minus 4.
Yep.
I will also punch in my other lock. Give me Denver with the points. Broncos country, let's ride. And let's hope Russ Wilson stops kissing babies.
Yeah, I guess give me the Broncos. We'll see how this ages for them. But yeah, give me the Broncos.
I don't know how many times this year I'm going to be saying Broncos, so I'll just do it now before I regret it. I'll say Broncos.
Till I see it, I'm going Raiders here.
I see them a little bit too.
See more from Jimmy GQ over the last couple of years than I've seen from Russell Wilson.
Give me Broncos. We could always chalk up a 1-year bad year. And Sean
next
Payton
game.
sure has been talking that shit, so he better be
Another
backing it up.
divisional game. Rams at Seattle. Seattle
Yeah.
is giving 5.5.
Lock in the Seahawks for me here.
Oh, I love this. Lock in the Rams for me here.
Oh my!
No Cooper Cup.
I don't give a shit. Freaking Seattle might be the most overrated team.
I don't disagree with you. I wanted to go Rams, but there's no Cooper Cup.
Well, I'm not locking a win, right? I'm just locking. I'm locking points.
Yeah.
So I'm getting some points. I think it could be a field goal game.
I do think that I'm with you though on the Rams overall. I do think they're a better team this year, especially once Cooper's healthy than what the public makes him out to be.
If Matty's healthy, they're going to be competitive in a shit
Yes.
division. I mean, that's just the facts.
The Lions always were with Matty.
Yeah,
They're at least competitive.
I'm going to lock in the Rams here too. I have them finishing over Seattle in the standings in that division. If Matt Stafford's healthy,
I feel like I said
Cooper
that
Kupp
too.
comes
Did I say
back.
that?
You said you just don't buy into the Geno Smith year
Yeah,
two.
yeah.
You're like it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
It's hard to beat out the Niners, obviously, because they're super talented. But it could happen. But I do think the Rams are like that fringe potential playoff team that nobody's talking about. You know what I mean? No, they're not gonna. But they're a team you don't want to play. If Matty's healthy, it's a team you probably don't want to play because he's going to throw for 300.
People forget, people act like they won the Super Bowl 10 years ago. It was 2 years ago. Not even
2 years ago.
5 minutes ago.
It just happened. I'll go with the Seahawks and give me the lock, the over in the Van Jefferson yards. I literally don't know who else is there.
Next game is Green Bay at Chicago. Chicago is favored by 1.5.
Line's weird.
Money line game.
Justin
Money line.
Fields is a fraud. Go Pack, go.
J Love.
I'm so
Lock
excited
it
to
in,
watch
Chicago, baby. Lock that in for me.
I know you.
What was it? What was it, Chrome?
Lock in Chicago for me.
And I am also going to lock in Chicago.
Chrome, do you have any Justin Fields overs that you would like to lock? Yards,
I don't, but I have them
interceptions,
making
fumbles. All
I don't, but I do have them making the playoffs this year.
We
in a wild
know.
card.
We know. You've said it a couple
I'm
times.
just gonna keep saying it too. Let's go, baby.
We know.
Packers, just because of how excited I am to see if Jordan Love can actually friggin' play. So I'll just go with the Packers.
Yeah, give me the Packers.
Last 4:25 game, Miami at LA Chargers. Chargers are giving 3.
Dolphins.
Yeah, I'll lock that in the Dolphins.
No.
Give me the Chargers.
Yeah, a lot of lock and Dolphins. Is Tyreek Hill playing? I know he's questionable.
Thought I saw it look like he was playing.
He might be. I just saw questionable when I did a draft earlier while coaching somehow. But I actually started letting my kids just pick the team for me. I was like, I don't even care, guys. I'm in enough. Just pick it. It'll probably be better.
Tyreek Hill.
Chargers on this one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Chargers too. They're a team that has a history of starting off the season hot and then fading. So I'm going to take them. I'm gonna go Chargers to start the year off.
Could he have been listed questionable just because of the off the field stuff?
Quite possibly.
Yeah, because it's like first time he spoke at practice was Wednesday and Thursday. Yeah, so maybe it was just that. 'Cause I don't see anything like. I was looking for he probably has a hamstring for the 80th time.
Oh, I just saw the cue and I just assumed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Fantasy was probably waiting to see if there was a suspension.
Yeah, this is an assumption here, but yeah, I think the Chargers are a team that usually starts the year off hot, so I'll buy into that.
For Brandon Staley's sake, they need to.
Sunday Night Football, Dallas at the Giants. Dallas is favored by 3.5.
I actually think the Giants are going to be kind of good this year.
Give me the Giants in this one.
Yeah, I think the Giants are going to be
I
kind
like
of
the
good.
Giants too.
I'll take the Giants.
I might go back.
What's the line?
3.5. It's that hooker.
3.5.
It's the hooker.
Giants.
Always the hooker.
Yeah, Giants. That's in New York, though. So
Yes.
give me
Sunday Night Football.
That's a weird line. Give me the Cowboys. It's a weird line. Why the hell are they giving them 3.5? What's going on around here?
I'm right with you, Tommy. Give me the Cowboys.
Give me the Cowboys. They're telling me something. They're almost enticing to take the Giants. It makes sense to take the Giants. Like, I get it.
Especially with that hook, right?
Yeah,
with
that
the
doesn't
hook.
mean
You're
I'm
like,
right.
field goal game. We're still winners here.
Now, keep in mind, it doesn't mean I'm right. This stuff you can overthink it. It's why
I get a bunch of losing tickets.
Yeah, got plenty to go around. But I try to look at those things sometimes. Like, wait, there's almost like because old me takes the Giants there. 3.5. Sure. Yep. That's a close game.
Home dog.
Nope. Now I think the Cowboys freaking smoke them.
Last game of week 1, Monday Night Football, Bills at the Jets. Bills are favored by 2.5.
There's a lot of question marks here. First off, again, what Bills are favored. I got quarterback, wide receiver drama, big time. Diggs is a flake.
Is Diggs even playing?
I don't even know. But what I do know is I do know the Jets are playing.
Yeah.
And Garrett Wilson
is a stud,
and Aaron Rodgers loves studs. Right? So he's gonna get him the football a lot. And that defense arguably was keeping them in games with a shit quarterback last year.
Yes.
Like literally carrying them. Listen, when you get a veteran quarterback like that, surrounded by a defensive-minded head coach, sometimes I think that's like a win-win. Sometimes it can be that offensive-minded head coach gets the veteran and they're off the ground running, right? Other times it can work the other way. You're not as worried about your offense because you got a guy who's seen it all. You got a guy in meetings that can help design stuff. So now, as a defensive-minded guy like Robert Saleh, you're allowed to go say, I'm going to put all my chips in my defensive basket. And that basket is full. That basket is full.
Quinn Williams is a problem.
Not here to puff chest. Since Sauce Gardner was a can't miss. He was a can't miss, a generational shutdown corner. And as a rookie, he had his own island. I mean, he recreated Revis Island. It's like, it became his own. He took over Revis Island last year. That's how shut down Gardner was. Sauce Gardner was. So, Gardner Johnson's for a different day. But yeah, I think they're, I think they're really good. I think they're really good. They should be. So, New York Jets fans deserve that. To be completely honest with you, like, that's a diehard fan base like ours, right? It really is. Like, I don't like anything about New York, but I don't care if it's in, like, the AFC. I don't hate you. Yeah. But that's a fan base that deserves it, right? Like, they've been trying to wait. And, like, when you're just a quarterback away, too, like, you're just a quarterback away. And it's that. And then the whole offseason of, like, are they even going to get him? Like, the guy's in the middle of nowhere.
2 years.
The guy can't even be contacted. Like, is he going to come out of the bunker and be like, New York, right? Like, and he did, and they deserve him. And listen, Rodgers is probably one of the best arm talents I've ever seen outside of a guy like Dan Marino, right? They're just pure arm strength. Can make every throw from, like, the spot you shouldn't be able to make a throw from. Is he older? Sure. Do they have the running game to help him? Absolutely. Like, absolutely. I mean, you added on the Breece Hall by getting Dalvin Cook, who's not finished. Dalvin Cook isn't washed. So, that's a nice present, like, during training camp in preseason. That guy we just upgrade with Dalvin Cook. That's a fun Hard Knocks. It's a fun Hard Knocks episode. Goodness gracious. Give me the Jets, and I'm a Bills junkie. You guys know this. I'm a big Bills fan. I'm a big Josh Allen fan. Until they decide to come out and run the goddamn football, until they're ready to compliment him as a quarterback, the Bills are a playoff team, but the Jets are winning that division until otherwise.
Tom, the Bills I'm so glad you said that, because the last couple of years and it's really shown to hurt them ever since Brian Dable left, right? Because it's kind of like, oh, well, Brian Dable might have been not full credit for Josh Allen, because Josh Allen's obviously really good, but it looks like from when Dable came in and kind of got him ready and then left, it's almost like Dable kept him from making the huge mistakes, right? It was almost like kind of the glue, right? But their offense, until otherwise, proven otherwise, is basically what the Eagles were doing with Carson Wentz, where it's basically like, hey, just go out and do things. Just go out and do things, run around the circle, run 50 yards, throw it. Oh, Stephon Diggs is down there somewhere. Oh, wait, he's not on the field? Okay, that's a problem. Like, it's just kind of like improvisation, which is fine. It's worked for them until it hasn't, right? To this game, one of the bold predictions from a couple weeks ago was I had the Bills missing the playoffs, so I'm going to need them to start racking up losses to help that. So, and also I think the Jets are going to be a really fun team to watch, so I'll go Jets.
I like I said, I sort of hope they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I sort of hope they are fun to watch.
And just
big fan of a lot of teams in that division.
On that Brian Dable take, right? Like, when the Giants were going good last year, what was Daniel Jones not doing? turning the football over.
That's what I'm saying. It's
right?
a commonality.
When they started going downward on their season is when Daniel Jones started turning the football over, which, to your point, is what Josh Allen didn't do when they were flying high. What did he do last year? Turn the football over a lot.
Yes, it's a light switch. It was a light switch. Tom, real quick to your point where, like, we kind of hope the Jets are good. And again, it has nothing to do because we're not New York fans. We've seen too many times, right, sometimes in Philadelphia where it's like the super team of the offseason, it pans out to be an absolute disaster. It would be nice if every so often a super team ends up being a super team or just ends up being a really good football team, right?
Yeah, like you can win in the offseason.
Yeah, because then it's kind of like, okay, how many super teams do we have to see be formed and then absolutely fall on its face and be like, oh, well, maybe we are all wrong with this. I want them to be good, and so maybe we face them in the Super Bowl, and then hopefully they're not very good on that game.
Yeah.
Hopefully Zach Wilson's playing the Super Bowl.
Yeah, hopefully it's fine. Aaron is back in the dark. Like it's okay.
For me, I still have to see it with the O-line. There's still a lot of questions with the O-line. I know they have a ton of weapons. I can see this being a shootout and both offenses being high scoring. But I do think defensively it's a tougher matchup for the Jets and their offensive line. So begrudgingly, I'm going to go with the Bills here because I would rather see the Jets.
Von Miller too, though.
Yeah, they're still a really tough defense. Though.
No, yeah.
You know, they played last year.
Yeah, they played last year without him. You're right.
Right. So I got to see it from the O-line with the Jets first before I dive all the way in.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Grim. I would say like your point there. I figured would be it's more of a criticism of the Jets O-line as opposed to like a compliment to the Bills, right? It's kind of like, hey, that's a huge question.
Yeah, and you know you got to remember that no matter how good you are and how many weapons you have, and we saw it in the Super Bowl with Kansas City a couple years ago, right? If you don't have an O-line and you're playing some of the elite teams in this league, it is really hard to win football games. So if they can get to the quarter, no matter what, with Aaron Rodgers, he's a pocket quarterback. He's not running very much anymore. So if they can break down the offensive line and get to the quarterback, they're going to have a long night. So I got to see it. I would like to see the Jets do. I'm with you guys. It's been way too long. That's why I'm kind of hoping to see like Miami and the Jets kind of start to take that division over and have a turnover, but I got to see it first.
Yeah, I don't think their offensive line is bad as we want to make it out to be. I think when you look at offensive lines, there's a couple things that are a part of that. When you have a quarterback like Zach Wilson who doesn't want to stay in the pocket, like immediately will come out of what he's doing, you know, that hurts offensive linemen, right? So I don't want to buy in because they've spent a lot of resources to make that offensive line better, right? They just have. You know, obviously, you know, Mekhi Becton is one of them, but you know, Elijah Vera Tucker is another drafted player. Lincoln Thomason's a guy they got from San Francisco. So, you know, Dwayne Brown's a veteran, you know, from Seattle. So, I mean, they have it's not like it's the worst offensive line I've ever seen. And when you have a running game that complement sort of some of the things we're saying could be problems for them, I think it can alleviate some of those issues. But we'll find out. We'll find out if it was Kyle Wilson or Zach Wilson, right? And we'll find out.
Yeah.
Or we'll find out if it's the offensive line.
Well, the one benefit too is Dalvin Cook is a really good blocking back, so that's going to help them as far as protecting the quarterback.
True.
But again, you know, even if the offensive line is better than what's kind of been advertised, I still think there's a little bit of a learning curve at this point because they really started to piece guys in from all over the place. So I could see like this early on, game 1, game 2 of the season, trying to figure that out. So, and the Bills are a tough first draw.
You know what's sneaky, too, about the Dalvin Cook thing is obviously Breece Hall's coming off that injury, right? You don't have to rush him back now.
No,
right?
didn't practice him. Not practicing him.
You can limit his snaps in the game, right? You can, you know, limit what he even does week 1 and 2 because you have a guy like Dalvin Cook who, yes, isn't washed. I just think it's so sneaky of a pickup in so many different ways.
Greg, to your point, I hope they do for my fantasy team. I hope they rest him. I hope
Yeah.
they, you know what I'm saying? I hope they take their time.
I love that one scene in Hard Knocks where they let him go that one practice, and he just and they're like, "Oh my God, he's back," because he just blew through everybody.
Yep. Everybody go? We all good?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets. So,
I got 2 more locks.
Oh, here we go. The parlay.
I forgot. I'm going to take the Pittsburgh money line as a lock. I forgot that when we were doing that in game. And then yes, I got my wide receiver, my touchdown parlay. We got Jay Jeff, Jay Jetta, Zay Flowers,
Ooh, like that. Okay.
and Christian Watson. That's plus 1529 for the parlay.
Wow, that's not hitting.
It's a shame. I like all 3 of them. If something bad's going to happen to one of them.
Hey, good work, Greg, but not happening. Thanks for stopping.
2 of them might be on my fantasy team, so this is not good.
It's definitely not happening now.
This is not good. This is really not good.
Yeah, so this question was posed to Bill Belichick. Question was if Malik Cunningham can give the Patriots looks to prepare for Hurts. Bill's response: you're talking about arguably the best player in the league, or one of the top 2 or 3 best players in the league. Nobody has that. Nobody has anybody that can beat him. Another great quote from Bill today. Yeah. Stay hot out there, Billy.
Dynamite dropping, money.
Tom, I thought you were going to reference when somebody asked him about long snapping and he gave a 10-minute answer today. I thought that's where you were about to reference. He literally talked for 10 minutes straight. He was phenomenal.
I love that guy.
He's a great talker, yeah, for sure.
To that point where like facing Hurts, and again, like we don't want to get too caught up in this because it was last season, but the last 2 times the Patriots faced a mobile quarterback like Hurts, again, different roster, different team, different year, all that stuff, was week 3 versus the Ravens against Lamar Jackson. Lamar rushed for 11 times for 107 yards and a touchdown, and the Patriots lost 37-26. And then in week 7 versus the Bears, Chrome's boy, Justin Fields, rushed 14 times for 82 yards with a touchdown, and they lost to the Bears 33-14. So that's the last 2 times they faced a mobile quarterback, which I think we would both agree. I would hope, especially for the one, our guy's better than both of them.
Yeah, agreed.
Current status, yeah. And I think even overall, yes.
Yeah. I just know somebody in the chat's going to be like, well, Lamar's a former MVP. Yes.
Yeah, we know.
4 years ago. At least 3. I think it was 4.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, it was great to break down week 1.
It feels good to be back.
It really does. It really does. It feels good to be back, and it feels good that we have, the football team that we have here.
Yes.
Right, and the kind of year we expect to have. We sort of do this, yearly in a way. But what's a bust to you guys? What's a bust of a year? What does it have to be? What do they have to do for you to say, all right, this was a successful season, and I'm good. Right? What needs to happen for that? Curious to see where everybody's heads is. And in the chat, let us know. What's considered a successful season?
I know getting back to the Super Bowl is really hard, especially, in the salary cap era now. I think it still would be a successful year if you can get to the NFC Championship game, though.
Yeah. You have to get at least there. But to me, and again, I know we've talked about in prior years, right? Like it's been a couple, but like honestly, we talked about this a few weeks ago. Like we know the Cowboys are going to be good, right? Like we know the Niners, even though we don't know what the quarterback is, we know they're going to be good. But we've been saying this since the second last year got done, right? And again, we don't know. It's all off-season talk, but we should say unless somebody really effed up or something bad happened health-wise, the Eagles really need to mess this up not to get back and be the class of the NFC. Honestly, like anything can happen in the playoffs, the NFL, right? The turnover, the Super Bowl hangover, all that stuff, right? But like when you talk about windows of opportunity, that's this season to a T. And I know it's not going to end this season. It's not like, oh, this is their last chance, like what it was like in the 2018, 2019 teams, right? But honestly, right? Like, again, we're not saying that it's us by, large degrees of margin, but honestly, we should be back in the NFC title game. We should freaking win the thing. Seriously. And if that's unfair, then it's unfair. But to me, that's what I expect.
I'll take a step further, right? Like I talked about earlier, like an NFC title game is cool, right? And it makes me feel good. And you better be back there. Yeah, because you better be back there because you better win it. And even more so, you better go win a Super Bowl because that window doesn't stay open forever, right? You're still paying your quarterback on not that type of deal yet in a way, right? You're still you saw the flexibility. Like guys' contracts are coming up. Some key guys. Jason Kelsey probably going to retire. Okay. Yep. You talk about Brandon Graham probably going to retire. I'm not saying there's not replacements in house. I'm not saying that, but that window to win is right now. Right now. And I'm not good with like a divisional round loss. I'm sure as hell I'm going to not be okay with an NFC title game loss because I'm going to wonder what if. And it's all cool winning 14 games. It's all cool going to Super Bowls. We're all in for that. Get me to the Super Bowl, and I'll deal with the consequences after. But let's remember. Let's go backwards and remember how we felt after that loss. Well, like we're good getting there, and it's a great 2 weeks, and we can deal with the loss, right? Because you're one of the last two teams standing. Remember how salty we were. So I'm going to keep that in mind going into this year. You ain't winning it. I'm salty because if you're not winning it, then you're the same thing that we seen here back in the Donovan days, and you're not finishing a job. At the end of the day, your legacy is built on finishing the goddamn job. Now, only one team does that. I get it. But this one team is built for that. And so are teams in the AFC argue. I get it. But in the NFC, it's not even close. That's why they better win an NFC title game. Okay? And then we'll talk about Super Bowl when it gets there, but I'm in the belief you better win the whole damn thing. Now, if you get hurt, you get hurt. I get that part of it, right? But outside of that, you better win the whole damn thing.
I feel like, under a normal circumstance, I would even like if this was as competitive as the AFC is, I would be fine where second round NFC championship. I agree. I think they have to anything under the NFC championship, and I'm even going to throw in this team should be breaking this 20-year streak of non-repeat divisional winners. Because as good as Dallas is, this team is better. And the fact that if this team doesn't win the division, I know they have a tough back end of the schedule, but that's all teams that are the top teams in the league are going to be competing for playoff spots anyway. If they go through a stretch where they're not beating those teams, I'm concerned anyway. That's a complete failure to me. So to me, it starts with a divisional win. They have to win this division. And then on top of it, NFC championship. And it is interesting because their road is so much easier. And it was interesting last night on Birds of a Feather. We broke down rankings and we did every team, NFC, AFC, as far as the playoff rankings. And across the board, it's all Eagles. And it's not because we all have agendas here for the Eagles. It's because they have the best team built for the easiest road in terms of conference.
Yeah.
When you went to the AFC, 5 of us all had a different top seed in the AFC. And that's very telling about the road that the Eagles have ahead of them. So anything short of a divisional championship plus an NFC championship for me, or championship appearance for me, is a complete failure.
Crum, I couldn't agree more. Yep.
No, absolutely. And you look at too, like, I mean, we've all watched a lot of football, right? We've all talked a lot of football. You know, you could almost go as basic as, because we know the turnover in the league, right? Hey, just let's get back to the playoffs. Let's win one playoff game, right? In a normal situation, right? With a normal team. You know what I mean? Like you're normal going into the expectations. Hey, let's get to the playoffs. Right, Crum, let's win the division. Let's get a bye and then win one playoff game and we're good, right? We're gooch. But no, I agree with everybody here. Like, this team is built differently. This team is built to win now, right? And we had that, you know. And if we cut the nets down last year, then maybe we don't like sit there and go, yeah, we need to repeat, right?
Yep, of course.
But because we didn't, now we're starving for it, right? Now and now we have a roster hopefully starving for it as well, right? So no, I don't think it's outlandish. I don't think it's too high to hold them to a standard that I know they're holding themselves to inside that building, right? You got to get back to the Super Bowl. You have to.
Yeah, I kind of want to correct when I said, like, you know, if you don't do it this year, your window is closing in a way, because like when I said that originally, it was showing like my belief in the younger guys, right? It's like okay, once the older guys go, you know, you have Georgia North, right? You know what I'm saying? The Georgia and Alabama all stars, basically, not including the guys that I'm sure they'll draft from those. Yeah, exactly. Not including the guys that I'm sure they'll draft from those schools this coming year. But it's really important, right? Like Tom, you mentioned Kelsey, right? But like you have a lot of things, and listen, for some of these guys, we've been saying this for years, right? So we don't know, but you just talk about whether it's this season or you're coming up at this mark, no matter what. It's a ticking. It's really at the end of the back nine per se. When you talk about Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Fletcher, BG, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of these guys to where they were the stablemates of this culture of this team, to where like it's probably, to all of our points, like Kelsey, it's probably it, right? Lane, we would hope another couple years for our sanity, right? Because he's arguably the most important player in the city, honestly. But who knows? He also said a couple months ago that he can only see a couple more years, right? Like Fletch, he almost left numerous times. BG getting up there, like you just go down the line. It's like, well, damn. As much as we're happy about Carter and Davis and Dean and Juergens and Mailata, just talk about, just a handful of players, we can keep going. There's some guys here that have been the culture of this organization, just the glue. That this could be it. This is it. This could be it. Like not to quote The Last Dance, but this could easily be it. And we were there. We were at the doorstep. We were a wet field, a bad defensive coordinator, and a drop pass or two away from having a parade, beating Mahomes and Andy. And we were saying, oh my God, we know how hard it was to get here and how it's so impossible to almost replicate how great of a season last year was. It's like, how the hell are we going to do this? But guess what? We opened up the show saying you can make arguments that this team could end up being better, which is not often you can say that about a team coming after a Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And what's ironic about that too is, you lose a Javon Hargraves, you lose TJ Edwards, guys who were key components to this team. Under a normal circumstance, that's a huge loss. Even bringing back guys like Bradbury and Slay and some of the other core guys. But you go out and you go and get like a Jalen Carter with the 9th pick. You go get into Kobe Dean at 30. Like the way it's not just like losing guys, but the way they filled holes with youth, with guys that are ready to step in and impact the game immediately. And oh, by the way, you have a Jordan Davis last year who's coming in and it looks like he's in a lot better shape with a little more experience now and a hell of a group of guys and more of his buddies around him. To me, I don't even think there's a question about it. I think this team's built better to win this year than it was last year.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, I absolutely agree with it. I think it's something we've all talked about. Is this team's ability to be better in a lot of different spots. And when you talk about your quarterback, right? When we talk about our quarterback, that's a spot where we feel like as a team, we're better because it's another year, right? And that extra year is gigantic. That extra year is absolutely gigantic in his growth and the things that we hope he can do. Mm-hmm. Right? Absolutely. I think we all agree on that.
Yep.
So, it's on him and it's on this team, and there's a lot of, there's obviously a lot that goes on with that.
And we know he's the anti-Ben Simmons. You know that he had a taste of it, and he's working that much harder to get back there.
No, for sure. And that's what we want, right? That's what we're looking for. So, we'll see where it shakes out, but I'm excited. I know you guys are. Mm-hmm. Everybody out there should be. Greg's not satisfied unless we win it all. I agree with all that stuff. That's where our eyes should be on the prize, and the prize isn't just getting there. The prize is kicking the door in and taking what's yours.
Be him.
Let's go kick it in. Let's go kick that door in, boys. So
do it. It starts this week. Let's go.
It does. It does start this week.
So pumped it's back.
Any other things you guys want to touch on?
Phillies win.
Yeah, it was.
Phillies win.
Much needed. Finish
Big
it.
bounce back after punting yesterday, which is just so strange. Punting game in August or September.
I hate the Sixers.
Won the series. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I hate the Sixers. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
I hate the Sixers.
Do we really here? So here's with the Danny Green thing, though, right? Real quick. So I don't hate it because to me that's a culture signing, and I do think he's a guy. And I mentioned this last night that he was very pivotal in helping Tyrese Maxey get to the jump that he made from year 1 to year 2. So to me, with all of this nonsense and turmoil, I feel like bringing Danny Green in is a culture move. And I'm okay with that. I don't think it's it's not going to knock your socks off, but I wasn't some people were like, oh, here we go. I can't, to me, I'm looking at the big picture. They need guys like that. They need character in that locker room because there's a lot of questionable character when you're talking about James Harden and PJ Tucker, and you don't know what you're going to get with Pat Beverly. Danny Green, is going to come in. He's going to be an effort guy, and he's going to push everybody, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I am too. I'm not against it. It's just he's old.
He was old when he was here the first time.
I don't think we're gonna see much of him, but I got to see this guy struggle to run up and down the court in garbage time.
We don't have an old enough team here. You know what I mean? We needed to get older. And that's what sort of gets me. It's we had to get older here.
And Chrome, I 100% agree with what you're I don't 100% agree, but I see what you're saying with the culture thing. But it's we do the whole culture thing last year. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we tried to.
Yeah.
Right. We tried to change it.
Right. But we know what you're getting with Danny Green. And Nick Nurse coached him on a championship team. So he knows what he can bring to a team that can have success as well.
You're right. I just feel like that was 8 years ago. It feels like that was 7 knee surgeries ago for Danny Green.
I get it. We're talking about the all-core thing. I don't think he's going to see as much. He might be, the 12th man on the bench, but I feel like the value you're going to get culture-wise is going to be so much more. And they need it. This team needs it. It's going to be a mess.
The funny thing is when I say I hate the Sixers, Danny Green was 20% of it. It's just I see we're still going to keep Montrez. We're going to fill the roster spot with Montrez, and we're going to keep Petrozev, and we're going to have Danny Green. And by the way, we're not going to trade Harden. And then meanwhile, I guess this is the Sixers hit piece on Harden. Harden did his hit piece a month ago, and now the Sixers give us a month. We'll have some things. And then that's what yesterday was. It's just can we just play basketball into June? Can we just do it once? Can we do it once? That's it. I don't care. Don't even win the freaking Eastern Conference final. Just get there. I'll worry about it. There's more hit pieces than playoff victories at this point. I've had enough.
Yeah, we're always in another year with them. So that's where we're at. And I don't know if anything's gonna change. Just like I said, like we said, it just feels like they're just getting older. They're not getting better. Yeah. And I don't know what we can talk about, the leadership in the clubhouse and all that kind of stuff. If Joel Embiid isn't healthy, it don't matter who the hell the leaders are. That's just the facts. Right? If he's not healthy, where are we going?
We also have to remember, too, we're up against money, right? So we can only bring in certain types of guys. Right?
Oh, for sure.
Old aging Danny Green is probably in that price range of what we're shopping for at the Dollar General on the free agent market.
And I know nobody wants to hear it, but, just get through this year, and a whole lot of money is coming off the books. You really could completely reassemble this team around Embiid and Maxey. So make the best of this year. And you're right, Ryan. I hope we can get to an Eastern Conference championship despite everything. I'm not counting on it. But at least the slate kind of cleans up finally after this year.
Chrome, to your point with the money opening up, I cannot wait until we all witness the moment when the offseason's here. It's after the second round exit. Everyone's talking about, money. We're gonna who what's the big signing we're gonna make? And the first big signing is the Sixers have extended Tobias Harris for 3 years. X million, and the fan base is going to burn down. No more stadium, no Zach LaVine, no Pascal Siakam. Nothing's going to be left. Nothing will be left. Because the first thing that they're going to say is, oh, he's a good culture guy. He's a good culture guy.
Yeah,
He is a good culture guy.
Yeah, I'm over the whole.
I can't wait for it. I'm so excited for that moment because it's happening. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not into the culture anymore. That was a fun ride. You know, we tried that game. We tried the culture. It didn't get us anywhere. Now we're wherever we're at now, and it just doesn't feel like we're
Don't
going.
even have any idea where we're at. That's the best part about it. It's a game of Russian roulette. We're going to see what happens.
No, it really is. I mean, it's going to be interesting, right? We have a lot to, we have a lot to figure out, right? So that's where we're at. We have a lot to figure out and unpack when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers. You know, and it's a shame. It's a shame because it should be a team that's ready to win and a team that we have conversations about, you know, playing one of the last teams standing, right? And I don't think that's ever going to be the case.
We all need the Phillies to play until late October, and we need the Eagles to be really good. That way the Sixers are like, we don't worry about them until like January.
Did you ever think we would see the day like anytime soon where we would say like you could almost reignite that conversation of who's closer, the Flyers or the Sixers?
Hockey Happy Hour guys talked about it a couple weeks ago. It was a great conversation, and it was just kind of like there isn't a wrong answer. Which, if you would, to your point, if you would have asked that question 7 months ago,
there would be no doubt.
It's not even a question.
My, how things can change at the drop of a hat.
No, for sure, right? Absolutely. You know, to that point, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy what can happen. You know, on just how fast, right? The image of it is, right? On like how quick like something like that can happen to a basketball team where we're like, oh man, we're ready to win. We're ready to win. Nah, I don't think we were ready to win. Yeah. I don't know if we're ever going to be ready to win. Sad. But guess what? It's a new year. And when New Year's hopefully come with a new team, I don't know, a new expectation.
It's a renewed hope.
Renewed hope is probably the
renewed hope and a prayer.
Well, we'll see, boys. We're close to being there as well. So that's something else we can, you know, talk about in the coming weeks. But to your point, yeah, we need to be great. You know, these other teams need to really keep us in the hunt and in the conversation where we're not feeling like, oh man, you know, we got a team that stinks. We got a team that stinks. Look at how old they are. It's like a YMCA. It's like a YMCA league.
Not leading the show first week in October. James Harden training camp updates.
Yeah.
Will he show up? Agree or disagree?
Let's really make Philadelphia fun. Let's cut Mariota and sign Carson back as the backup. I'm all in for it. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm in for that. I don't know if I'm in for that one. But, you know, I'm good with a lot of stuff. Just don't know if I'm in for that one.
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting.
The airways would go bananas.
No, I'm here for it.
It would be absolutely insane, right? But let's not do that. We have enough going on here. You know what I mean? Like, can we just like relax? Can we just keep our feet where our feet are for a few minutes here? You know, we got to go talk about this. We got to bring Carson in. That's all we need. That's
I'm
all
in
we
for
need.
it.
We're gonna win our Super Bowl. Jalen goes down and Carson takes us in.
Well, that's exactly Tom. Okay, I'm glad you started that because I didn't want to be like the person that brings up like the Hurts injuries, right? But I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, it would be so typical Philadelphia if there was a world where we're like 10-1. Hurts becomes, I'll just say Hurts becomes unavailable, right? I'll use that terminology. He becomes unavailable. And then lead discussions the next morning. Well, we know a certain quarterback that's out there, and he's better than Mariota. Would you do it?
100%.
I think I would do it.
I would totally do it.
Because if it's going to go down in flames, right? I know Mariota's not getting there.
No, I need somebody who's going to be able to get the ball to or at least seemingly somewhat get the ball to AJ and Devontae.
I was about to say, can he even do that anymore?
I'm like, seemingly, he can more than Mariota, that's for sure.
To Mark's point in the comments, in that case, I might go to the other guy, the other former guy from that.
He has nothing left. He's got
I don't know if Mr. 11 does either. To be fair.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get into all this one. I'm going with a lot of stuff. I don't know. I don't know if I can handle that. Like, what are we doing?
Then it opens up does AJ give up his number back to him? What happens?
Oh, it's a controversy. That's a locker room issue.
How many rollies you buying?
Yeah, I'm out on that. No. Oh, but that would be funny. Yeah, it wouldn't be funny if Jalen got hurt, but that would be like typical Philly. Carson comes full circle and wins.
He wins. And then he's on the other side of the quarterback controversy. He does what happened to him.
Do we keep him? Do we give him an extension? Do we extend him?
Do we trade Jalen for 2 firsts to the Browns? Remember that trade scenario? Well, the Browns are willing to give 2 firsts and a second for Nick Foles.
Gotta do it.
Gotta do it.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah, that can't happen. We're not. It's not allowed to happen.
No. I'm going. Like I said, go with a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna sit that one out.
We did it once. We did it once. We don't need to do it a second time.
No. What's the second time get us?
Pain, confusion.
Yeah. Like I said, Super Bowl, sure.
Oh yeah.
If that can get me a Super Bowl, then I'm all for it. But don't know if that's going to happen. Safe to say it doesn't. So, but either way, great topic, great conversation. No matter how it works out. All right, boys. It was a great show. Heck of a show. We thank all our listeners, everybody out there. Tons of comments in. Make sure you turn your alerts on. Starting tomorrow. Guess what you have? A little B-Dawk. B-Dawk on at the 5:30 mark. Or, 5:30 tomorrow. Brian Dawkins, Dawk Talk on Vetted with Hollis and Irvin. So make sure you come, turn your alerts on, tune into them, show them your love. Show B-Dawg the love he has, the people have in this city for him. Not that he doesn't know that already, but show him to him more. All right, show him the love. Okay, and their show is going to be actually brought to you by Royal Billiard, and we talked about them a little bit earlier. Go get all your man cave needs, and you can even dabble. You can even dabble with hot tub.
Oh, hey!
We talked about it earlier. Find all your game room or man cave needs at royalbilliard.com. And before we get out of here, we're going to go play a quick little commercial if I can find it. There's so many things in here, but I found it, and we'll be right back to close out the show.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
There you have it, royalbilliard.com. We thank everybody for tuning in. Let's go Eagles. It's game week. We're here, and we're going to go kick some ass. And I hope Brady enjoys all the hanging of the banner and the retirement ceremony and all the fun things going up there in Boston. But we're going to ruin that party. So we thank everybody for tuning in. We love you all. For Frank Vespi, Ryan Brodo, Chrome, Ralphie Del Vecchio, Greg Moakvik, I'm Tom Arnone. We love you all. We appreciate every one of you. Hit the like, subscribe, Let's go. See you next week. 1-0 talk.